Good morning. Jacket, pocket knife, Vincent in the back streets, bursting into flames like a match to a gas leak. Only thing that kept me back in school was art class. Had a friend with the black flag armband. He said it's cool if they all understand you. Just be yourself. You know what you're here to do. There's the haters, there's the bullies, there's the know-it-alls, but they just hate the faults, so they just hate us all. It's irrelevant if they go big and talk, cause we're just tiny ants out in space on a giant ball.
Go throw some shade on him. Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel good? Ooh, does it make you right?
Sometimes I wonder why I can't understand. My head keeps running like a river over troubled sand, and I'm just thinking of these reasons you would do me wrong. I can't think of one. I guess we all got our opinions, and I'm just out here trying to be good, do right, trying to do things my life. You just love cosmic stride. Keep my eyes closed, my head down, pass straight, my mind clear, my energy stays vibrant. I'm vibing on that right shit. And fuck that potion holding me down. Only way out of here's out. Y'all too busy sticking around.
Go throw some shade on him. Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel good? Ooh, does it make you right? Ooh. Gestation. What stage? Who's stirring? I think stir the pot. Yeah, I like doing that one. It's great for the shoulders. I'm too much. It can make you sore. You know, not proper form, overdoing it. Yeah, then you're sore. Yeah, you almost like, I mean, you yourself kind of know what's enough or too much for yourself, right? I mean, as someone that's been doing it for years says, yeah, do 500 of these, and you've never done them, or you don't do them that much, or you haven't done them for a while, and then you try, just like a drug, right? And then you try to do 500 of those things, you're going to be sore and hurting. I mean, you could kill yourself, a heart attack. Right, so it's something you yourself, like what is that thing that's telling you? Right, and sometimes the mind says, oh, I can do it, and then just your physical, whatever, it's like, no, I mean, you're trying, but you just can't lift it. Yeah, no, you said you could, but you can't. Right, I mean, maybe you won't even try because you don't want to prove yourself wrong. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I can do it. Walk away. Try it then. No, I can do it. I don't have to prove myself to you. Adios. Beast mode. Good to go. No, dude. No, I'm still letting my voice rest. Yes. Mm-hmm. You? Here's one more time that I might just blow. You will be heading for people. Come on, just up in the floor. Top of the mountain. But I like the stairs. They're fun. Aw, Fatty McGee. Singing hey. Yelling at the sky. Clear the ball, no stale smoke. Mutiny when you double poke. No two shits do I give a fuck. Fat bitch. Keep it up. Footprints down the hall. We party hard. Doesn't undertone, don't hesitate. We low carry, we medicate. In my zone, sucker free. You're the bitch that sucks to be me. Remember this, no house calls. Paper chasing, I'm Bruce Wayne and your Dick Grayson.
So peaceful in the water.
Got your dry bag?
Right here.
All right. You want to try it in the water now?
Step out.
Not stepping
Come on, get out. We're not doing this.
What are you doing?
Get out.
I'm not stepping out.
Get out.
What are you doing to me?
In policing, we often have repeat customers. And when you have a repeat customer that encounters a deputy don't play that, you know that it's not going to go well. You'll first get the pleading, you'll get the denial, and then you get the tears. But very rarely do you get someone that calls
As much as
911
we
on
see
the
it,
police.
every time
If
it's
they
like,
do,
what
they're going
the
to jail.
frick?
This is one of those.
Some kind of
Hey, how's it going, man?
foreign
You got
encounter.
trouble with
What is going on?
Okay, so, Tiffany, you're suspended right now, okay? When you passed me, I immediately knew it was you. I've stopped this vehicle
I am
before.
not suspended.
You're suspended. You got a 12 point.
I just got that license.
Nope. You're suspended right now.
Listen, that is not true. I just got my license.
Saying you're suspended.
Okay, you're gonna have to call your boss.
Nope, we're not doing this again.
You
Okay.
have to call your boss. I got my license.
I don't have
Say
to
it
do anything
again.
for you, okay? This is gonna go how I say it's gonna go, okay?
Seems like
You're
they've
suspended. You're not driving.
had
And it's a
encounters
12 point
before.
suspension, so I can place you under arrest and
I
put you in the jail
just
right now.
took a driver's test. I took a driver's test. You're a liar. Call your boss. You have to call your boss.
Nope, I'm not going
You
to.
have to call your boss.
But I'm just not going to. So,
You're calling your boss. You have to call your
no,
boss.
I'm not going to.
Some interesting things that I've noticed from this. Okay, they know each other. They've dealt with each other before. The officer's positioning, not a fan of this sand side on here. Behind the B pillars, best position to be. However, with these driver suspension things, sometimes there can be confusion. The officer has a lot of information inside the vehicle. You run a registered owner of a vehicle, you can get information back. You know the person, you can run them. There can be some confusion as far as timing when a person gets things
Well,
completed.
that's the thing
Because
is,
the
I mean,
Department
they
of Motor
always
Vehicles
taught us
works
that too.
pretty
Like,
well with
even
the
if
information
out
they
of,
put in the system, but
if,
there can
if
be some
you
lapses.
do
It's
know what
interesting to see how
officers
this
say,
whole
you
goes.
should
Is that
know
your driver's
that.
license right there?
This
They always taught us that, out of respect for the officer, even if you know them or have encounters with them before or whatever it is,
No.
to not expect like any special treatment or act shocked if you don't get it.
It smells like burnt marijuana.
Yeah, we've dealt with a lot of those people over the years.
Have you had anything smoked today?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, talk about
I have
entitlement.
bloodshot
Wow.
red eye I've had for weeks.
You had
Sad.
too.
Are you for real right
Have you had
now?
anything smoked today?
No.
Anything to smoke recently within the past few days?
Yeah, so we're always taught those things. It's like so shocking to us that people don't know it because it was always common, offhand, and right on the palm knowledge. So I'm not
When you're still in
sure
Lawrence Township, it said you're
It's not
suspended.
true. That's not true.
what the hell are they
The
doing.
computer don't lie.
It's not true.
Okay, hold on for me. Here's this back
You're
for you.
gonna have to call your boss.
No. Can you advise the suspension types she has?
Insane.
That's clear.
It is. It's shocking to a lot of us. Like even some of these like little simple encounters. I know the faces sometimes,
So it
even
looks like he's
myself.
confirming it with dispatch, 'cause
Still,
again, some of
even
stuff
to
is
this
clerical
day,
between the DMV and
by
what information
myself,
the officer gets,
I'm
and the best information
just
the officer has
looking
is what
on
goes
in
off
like
of.
awe,
Again,
like
just
what
hoping
the
there's no confusion as far as timing goes.
I know. It makes us feel sick almost. Like it's sickening. It's sad. Like, what the? It doesn't even register. It doesn't make
I
sense.
promise you right now, I am not lying to you. I just got my license. Why do you keep telling me?
I know. I remember sometimes people don't think it's real. They think they're just putting on an act. Like there's no way people are treating police officers that way.
I'm not laughing.
I'm calling 911.
Don't call 911. I'm going to arrest you.
It's good timing.
I'm telling you right now. If you call 911, hang up the phone.
You are scared.
Hang up the phone.
Uh,
Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. I'm going to arrest you for this. Hang up the phone. There's no reason to call 911.
Call your
I'm telling you right now. Are you on the phone
Call your
911?
supervisor right now.
I'm gonna go make another coffee. What are you doing?
I will call right now if
Do
you
not
don't
call 911 again.
supervisor
Go ahead and step out for me.
I'm not
Step out for me.
I'm not stepping
Ma'am,
out.
step out for me.
I'm not stepping out.
Step out.
I'm not stepping
Come on,
out.
get out.
I'm not stepping
Come on.
out.
We're not doing this.
What are you doing?
Get out.
I'm not stepping out.
You're under arrest. Get out.
What are you doing to me?
Okay, it was
Oh
reset.
my
Let's just call
God.
911.
Listen, I need
Get out of the
help.
car.
I need help. I need help. I need help. Please, there's literally an officer. Please. Oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing?
The phone. Give me the phone. You're under arrest. Stop. Stop.
Someone help!
Put your hands behind your back. Stop it. Stop.
Someone help! I just can't.
Stop it. Excuse me. Listen. Put your hands behind your back. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Relax. Stop it.
Okay, so let's talk about this right here while he's holding her. She's not fully in custody yet. It doesn't appear that he handcuffed her yet. Here's some things. 2 times I heard him say, step it up. So when they say step it up, that means get here quick to the backup unit, and that backup unit is going to roll code. The first time he said step it up, he said step it up. She's calling 911, and then the second time she was resisting him, so she said she's resisting, so step it up. So what's going to happen? The officer obviously lights and siren and getting there as quickly as they possibly can. Whenever I watch these, I always say, is there a way that we could have avoided having another unit roll code to our situation? Personal to me, have had fellow officers lose their lives rolling code, and not saying that this isn't justifiable. What I'm saying is it should always be thought and presence of mind to say, should I have them rolling code to my location? I'll always harp on this because I know officers who lost their lives. And not only that, what if they hit a civilian who just isn't paying attention while they're driving? We know people are distracted driving all the time. Rolling code should be only utilized when you definitely need it. And I'm not going to make the judgment call from here, but this is something that I definitely want officers to think about. If you have someone roll code to your location, is this necessary?
Lean up against my car right now. I'm holding you like this until somebody come and handcuff you. No, you're under arrest.
What? I didn't even.
Stop. Stop it. Spread your feet right now.
I can't believe it.
Stop it.
I can't believe it. Stop holding me so hard.
No, you've already resisted. No, you've already pulled away from me. I'm waiting until my partner gets here. I'm going to put you in handcuffs. You're under arrest. You are under arrest. Spread your feet. Spread your feet.
Now, this woman is absolutely making things harder for everyone involved. And honestly, it's similar to how Medicare companies seem to make it nearly impossible to find the right Medicare plan for you, which is exactly why Chapter was created. You see, as we speak, potentially millions are on the wrong Medicare plan without even realizing it. But Chapter connects you with independent advisors who are completely salary-based and will compare every plan that's available to you and help you understand what best fits your needs. The call is completely free. It only takes about 20 minutes. And over the past few months, they've helped many channel viewers such as Phyllis, who was able to find a plan that was 2 times cheaper with the help of Chapter. So call Chapter today at 844-533-6078. Again, that's 844-533-6078 to find the plan that's right for you.
She keeps trying to get away. I'm just go ahead and cuff her. I got her hands. Face the vehicle. She's already resisted.
Before, okay? You need to relax.
I already checked CJIS. She's still suspended. She has.
I'm not suspended. You are suspended. He ran you over the thing.
She called 911 twice on me.
I just got my license. Look at the date on it. Look, you're still suspended. What are you
You're gonna work at female 2-1. Break. If you contact the county, she called 911 multiple times.
I did. When I had to look at his body, we always do. We did last time. We did last time.
In custody. So here's an interesting thing. So I heard the officer say, can you contact county, because she called 911 multiple times. So this is jurisdictional thing as far as where calls that come into different call centers, and it happens all over the entire country. You can cross jurisdictions from one side of the street to the other. So the 911 call, which this lady's screaming, he's got me, he's doing something. The dispatcher might not even know that she was talking about an officer. It could have been a domestic or whatever. So this 911 thing is a very interesting challenge to deal with.
Hello? Hey, ma'am, this is Officer Rohr from Lawrence Township. I'm sorry she called you. She was just being placed under arrest, and she decided to call you guys. I don't know why. I have my dispatcher from the Red Center. They're contacting you guys just so that way you guys don't have to send a deputy out here and confirm the 911 hang up. But
so that was the call. That was an open line to 911, I believe, where this lady was screaming and the officer squared it away and said, hey, listen, this was this lady calling on me, an officer. So they're going to communicate with each other and clear out this 911 disconnect or open line 911 with the lady screaming.
that's what that was all about.
Right now you're sitting in here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm sorry that happened. She wasted your time.
At any time.
Clear. Break the dispatch.
You need to get your license. That's all you got to do. Go ahead and sit. What do you? I just. It doesn't matter. Just sit in there. Look at the date on that paper. Okay.
Can you start, Roto?
I'm gonna actually pull it up and I'll show you that you're suspended. Go ahead. Look right here.
Look at the computer.
Can you see? Look at the date on my license. How am I supposed to know that though? Okay. Suspended. Look. Listen. All I'm saying. Listen. I'm telling you, you have.
She has like 5 open
You have
suspensions.
6.
6.
6. One from detained to arrest. Allow me to explain, okay? If you take a deep breath. Every time we go through this, every time. Listen. Please don't do that to me. What did I do? You're under arrest right now for misuse of 911 because you called 911 twice with a police officer with lights and
I
sirens.
told you twice. Don't do it. Don't do it.
911, that is illegal. Second ago, we asked you to get out of the vehicle how many times? And every time you put up a fight. Last time we let you totally go. We let you go. We didn't even show the car.
So this is an interesting statement by the female that's in custody. She's saying, please don't do that to me. And what's interesting is that when I've dealt with people who have these multiple suspensions and these multiple interactions with the police, that instead of saying, don't do that to me, they should be saying, why am I doing this to myself? Because in law enforcement, you get blamed for every woe in a person's life. And on top of trying to do everything right, you're still going to get people that complain. And this lady is putting the onus on her bad driving decisions on the police. And it's just not fair, but it happens all the time.
This is now the second or third time we've dealt with you and you act like this and it is unacceptable. Because you have the right to remain silent and anything you say pleaded will be used against you in the court of law.
Have you noticed that too? Some people I know they'll say that like, oh, when you have people that kind of behavior that's completely disregard, disrespect, or whatever, then say, yeah, look at the parents. But that's not always true. You know, sometimes it's the polar opposite. It's almost like you ever see kids that grow up in alcoholic homes, and sometimes they wind up being alcoholics themselves.
become a canine handler. And she
other
stepped right
times
up,
they
took
wind
care
up
of business, showing
completely
her knowledge of the
refraining
law,
from
high
it
police
because
IQ,
of
in a lot of ways, from what I see, very high police
witnessing and having trauma associated to those things. So some fall into it in the same kind of whatever, and for some go the opposite direction. So it's not always true, you know, when you
Create your own
really
section.
look into those
Instantly
things.
flawlessly everywhere. With Jergen.
It's, yeah, some I think find it just easier to stereotype and call the kettle whatever color they want, however it fits their funding and narratives and belief systems that are majorly fucked up.
police IQ.
You have the right to win information. You have the authority will be appointed to you. You understand your rights and your right to be right.
Misconstrued, to put it less vulgarly.
Maybe. Do you want me to check her? Do you want me to check me?
If you want to check her eyes real quick, I'll go,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll have you. You're talking. Okay, so I've been extremely patient. Yeah, there's a couple other things, but I know she's not going to do anything, so we can try to pull her out. But it's going to be just us two.
She won't, okay,
She already is saying that I'm harassing her
okay.
by making her do tests in
I'll be out with that.
her eyes were squinting. Her eyes were squinting, and I asked her to open up her eyes, and she said that I'm harassing her now, and that I'm.
You could smell it on her right away back there, couldn't you?
Great.
And then there's an open container in here.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all these ask her if she wants to do any field sobriety. Probably not. Hey, Tiffany. I know she already looked at your eyes. Do you want to do any field sobriety?
I'm not on anything.
Okay. It still smells like burnt marijuana in my car. So that would lead me to believe that you had just recently smoked
I
marijuana.
promise you, I'm not on anything. You
Okay.
can drug test me. You can do whatever.
Okay.
Take me to jail.
You're still going to be under arrest regardless for all the other offenses. But do you want to do any field sobriety in the
What's the
meantime?
point?
Do you want to do them? I have to offer them to you.
What is the point? If you're taking me to jail, what is the point? What is the point? I'm not on anything. Give me a breathalyzer. I'm not on anything.
I don't think it's alcohol.
Okay, I'm not on anything.
Okay. So do you want to do any field sobriety tests?
Yeah, what do you want me to do? Yes.
I can't. You do?
Yes, whatever you need me to do.
Okay. Come on up, bro.
First name Lincoln Adams Union, Robert Adams, last name Paul
It didn't have to go like all this. I'm going to fix now. Follow it up. One more time. Okay, so bring your fingers like this. I don't want you to sing the alphabet, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to start on the letter D and then on Y, okay? Don't sing it, just start on D and then on Y.
D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, W, X, Q, Y.
Okay. You're okay. Just go ahead and face that way for me now, okay?
We noticed that she did the HGN, which I've explained many, many times, and I'll always explain the horizontal gaze nystagmus, looking for nystagmus and involuntary jerking of the eyes, and you follow a stimulus. We also saw the officer do the vertical nystagmus as well, which you can pick up a lot of different things, not just heavy booze. You can pick up different types of narcotics. Sometimes a person can have a nystagmus as a medical condition, and many people have chimed in on that as well. In this other test, starting the alphabet at D and stopping at another letter towards the end of the alphabet and not singing it, and I think I've seen this done on like boats and stuff like that where people can't do walk and turn and other things, but it's one of the other field sobriety tests that I've seen.
Then put your hands back behind your back. Then put your palms together, it'll be more comfortable.
I want to really briefly say something about the handcuffing. He did a really good job with the handcuffing. I hope that none of you end up getting handcuffed when you're watching these videos. You hear people complain about handcuffing all the time, and sometimes in just a rush or in the heat of the moment, the cuffs get put on in a wonky way. The most ideal way for a
Pretending like one thing's different from the other when they're literally identical. But moving us on out of that, we have also been able to hear that apparently we've finally gotten a cost estimate, folks, of how much the first 60 days of the war cost you. Yeah, are we back now? It looks like it's trying to get back, and we're back now. This is going to be a very tough night, man, because of this. I don't know what's causing it. Yeah, I'm not sure what's causing it either, but hopefully it fixes itself. It looks like there's some issues across servers, though. I'm checking down detector. It looks like there's some issues. So thankfully it's not our fault tonight. Like, it's not our computers or anything. It's just simply a server problem. And also our viewer number keeps fluctuating wildly. Like, it's going from like 14 to 15 to 16, then back down to 14. So bear with us, folks. It's apparently server glitches. But yeah, this war is costing a little bit over 1.2 or 1.3 billion a day if this number right here is accurate. That's a pretty expensive war right here if that keeps up at that rate. Yeah, it's pretty expensive to be sure, and if we divide that, 72 divided by 60, that is $1.2 billion a day. And you know something that's crazy, folks? If I remember correctly, I think we gave Ukraine, before the current administration, what was it, Matthew, in terms of actual military support? It was like $120, $130 billion over the course of 3 years? Yeah, an actual direct military support, like vehicles, equipment, somewhere around that mark, yeah. So that was about $40 billion, roughly, a year in military equipment for Ukraine to fight what everybody thought was the second best army in the world at the start of the war. I'm not gonna lie, folks, for a lot of people to be complaining that Ukraine is a money pit, sure as hell seems a lot cheaper for us to just give Ukraine weapons and let them fight still what is the largest ongoing war in the world right now at $40 billion a year than us going in and fighting it at $1.2 billion a day with Iran, which in theory ought to be easier to deal with than Ukraine at this point, but apparently it's not. So, because we're still having to deal with them right now. So, a little bit interesting with that, and also showing us at the moment right now a little bit of a glimpse at the cost of fighting a war, which many people have always misunderstood to be quite cheap, when in reality wars are prohibitively expensive. It's interesting that a huge chunk of that they're counting right here is $12 billion in losses. That's quite wild in itself. Oh, that is really 12 billion. Oh, you know what that must be. There's a couple of big things that they hit out there every once in a while, though. You know, like that multi-billion-dollar early warning detection system and radar. I think that system itself, like the whole compound, was about $1 billion or so. So that's like a huge chunk of it right there. Yeah, that might explain it. And you know, I will say that's a little bit misleading. I will say with that because technically it's a loss, but it was in a foreign country, so I'm not really sure. Like if we took that out, it would lower it a little bit. But I mean, even if you took out some things that it might be, possibly exaggerating a little bit in this, to be honest, because that might be exaggerating if they included it, by the way. We're not totally sure if they did. But it seems to me like the war is highly expensive. So between the economic cost on the U.S. citizen that's being inflicted with inflation, rising cost, and, shortages of oil now in some places of the world, you're adding on top of it the cost of the war directly, which seems to be quite expensive as well. So, preferably this thing doesn't go on for ages, or otherwise we could be looking at possibly $1 trillion war. Yeah, this thing is certainly looking fairly expensive over a really short period of time. If we were running this sort of a number, folks, and we were actively in this war for a whole year. Let me get you all the number here really quickly on that. So it'd be 1.2 billion times 365 days in a year. That would cost us $440 billion to fight this war for 365 days. To give a little bit of an idea as to how expensive wars are. And I have to say, folks, a lot of people always scoff at things like over the years supporting the armed forces of Ukraine in their fight against the Russians. But when you think about it, folks, we spent $120 billion to give Ukraine military equipment, and we didn't even spend it really. We just, looked at all of our military equipment we were about to retire and destroy and said, what's about $120 billion worth of that? Let's just give that to them. And so we just gave them old equipment that in value was equivalent to $120 billion, but wasn't just $120 billion in hard cash. We give them $120 billion over 3 years to fight the Russians for us, basically at that point for free over 3 years, and they do a damn good job at it. And it would cost us about that much to fight the war against Iran for maybe 3 to 4 months. To put that into perspective, how cost efficient it is to support the Ukrainians in their fight against the Russians. The Russians will push west eventually if the Ukrainians lose. And that means that for about $40 billion a year, which is discount Happy Meal prices and military figures, we stop the Russians from forcing us to get into a war with them. That's pretty decent budget figures right there, in my opinion, and avoids the larger conflict that we have to get into. So why not support the the Ukrainians, because I think this ought to be a fairly clear indicator to many that war is not cheap, and what we've been giving the Ukrainians to fight a whole war against Russia is basically peanuts in military spending figures. But moving us on out of that, we have also been able to hear some other interesting news out of Dubai today. Someone has risked possibly being arrested in a prison today to get us this information out of the Dubai International Airport, as they filmed from the window of their aircraft a fire that was burning near to the Dubai International Airport, confirming that the prior Iranian attacks had landed inside of Dubai to some extent and have caused physical damage once more on the ground, much like the prior armed phase of the conflict, where the United States and Iran were flinging missiles at each other like there was no tomorrow, and then Iran was firing at everyone else like there was no tomorrow. So we can confirm that they have hit a couple of more targets within Dubai, and here was a little bit of a better clip of that, once again showing us that it is close to the Dubai International Airport, and does appear to be a pretty significant fire. So we can confirm that the Iranians are still conducting attacks against the United Arab Emirates. It appears that damage is fairly fresh and the fire looks to be somewhat new, and that's also telling us that the Iranians are still largely operating at this point like the ceasefire is over. A ceasefire means they stopped shooting. They have not stopped shooting, and over the past 2 days, they're shooting actively at us and allies in the region. If there was any justification for the resumption of war, that would be it. In the meantime, the United States Air Force does appear to have been operational within the area, as the U.S. Air Force E-3 Sentry under the call sign Andor 53 was airborne south of Qatar over the course of this day, and did appear to be coordinating aerial operations for the United States Air Forces that were active within this area. We've also been able to see that some other interesting flights were conducted over the day as well, including one of an MQ-4 Triton, which went on an incredibly long surveillance route just south of Iraq, Kuwait, and Iran through the Persian Gulf, and we also able to hear that E-11 BACN from Prince Sultan Air Force Base also took a little jog today up to Iran and back, which is a fairly interesting thing to note as well. So generally, from what we're seeing, it does appear that there is still some modicum of U.S. Air Force activity and U.S. Air Force's activity that is ongoing on a regular basis at this point, but has not resulted in any direct armed action against the Iranians yet, and we're not sure if it ever will. In the meantime, forces are being relocated into the general area or close to the area of responsibility to be able to prepare for possible eventualities where special forces may be required. We have seen by satellite photography the confirmation that the MV or motor vessel Ocean Trader has arrived today within Diego Garcia and is currently cast its anchor in the middle of the shoal that makes up the Diego Garcia Island. We've also seen that it's been accompanied by an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, which may possibly be its escort, and we've also seen that the USNS Pillalaw is also here as well, which I believe is some form of a naval oiler or an auxiliary that helps to support the actual combatant operations of the United States Navy, currently involved in CENTCOM's AOR against the Iranians and enforcing our blockade right now at the Gulf of Oman. The arrival of the MV Ocean Trader does generally suggest that there may be a possible eventuality of special forces being used in raid-like operations against the Islamic Republic of Iran, maybe even for the very reasons that we've mentioned on air. We have seen that in prior instances, especially including the time of the capture of Nicolas Maduro in the earlier part of this year, very early January, the MV Ocean Trader was present at the U.S. Virgin Islands and appears to have actually been involved in coordinating and conducting the very raid in collaboration with the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment of the United States Army to be able to capture Nicolas Maduro out of his presidential palace in Miraflores in Caracas, Venezuela. We do believe that a similar sort of a use of special forces may be seen here, not for the capture of top officials, but for special forces insertion raids into the country that may be incredibly small in duration, but would require some of the most highly trained and most independently operated forces that we would have under our control, which would be that of U.S. Special Forces Command. So we will be waiting to see if they're ever used, but this does suggest that there are plans in motion right now that may involve the use of some form of special forces. But moving us on out of Diego Garcia, it is time for us to move on and into some of the rest of the news that we were actually able to get from inside of Iran and also over in the ongoing conflict between Hezbollah and Israel right now in southern Lebanon. But before we get to all of that, a lot of people right now are talking about how Iran has rapidly increased its rail-based trade with China, which actually is going to bump us right on into the news out of Tehran really quickly. before we get to the poll, I need to make sure to cover this one because I'm about to have to rip apart this whole noose. The Iranians have stated today that they are circumventing the entire effect that the U.S. blockade has on them by diverting all of their cargo over rail. And the Iranians did state the rail corridor today that is being used, and apparently they're stating that the main line from Iran through Turkmenistan to Uzbekistan, and then through southern Kazakhstan past Almaty, and then on into Xinjiang province in western China, is apparently the mainline rail route that they're attempting to use right now, or they're claiming to be using to circumvent the ongoing U.S. blockade in the Gulf of Oman. Many people have been talking about this claim today, and whether or not this is actually going to be circumventing the effects that the U.S. blockade is economically having on the Iranians, which, while small, can eventually turn into something if we wait about an entire year or so. So, Matthew, what are people thinking about that right now, and what are you thinking about that as well?
Alright, so Iran is claiming that they're subverting the U.S. blockade by doing this whole rail-based trade thing, but is it really what it seems? Is the U.S. blockade really dead like the Iranians are trying to claim it is? 55% said no, the U.S. blockade still works. 26% said yes, the U.S. blockade is basically dead now that the trains have arrived on the scene, and 13% said I'm 50-50 on this issue. And the U.S. blockade still works. Like this rail-based trade thing that Iran's doing, they are ramping it up, but the problem is this though, they can't carry as much on this rail-based platform. It doesn't carry as much raw quantity as they were carrying by ship through the Strait of Hormuz. That's problem number one. Problem number two, it's really easy to hit it. So if the U.S. wants to go back and strike that, it's really easy to take out. The truth here is, here's the truth. The Strait of Hormuz being blockaded, it's going to hurt Iran, but here's the problem though. It's going to hurt Iran over the course of several more months. By the time that comes around, everybody's going to be hurting very badly, not just Iran. So it's hurting everybody, including Iran, that the U.S. is blockading the strait. But there's no way to replace that massive amount of shipments that Iran was making through the Strait of Hormuz. There's simply no way to replace that with rail-based trade. That's impossible. They're making a small dent, I would imagine, but it's a very small dent they're making with that. So it's pure propaganda coming out of Iran. But Enforcer, what say you?
They don't have a way in hell of making this work. I just went and did some quick looking, and to give you all a little bit of a breakdown, the rail infrastructure does not exist in Iran or any of these countries to be able to support such a significant shift to rail-based traffic. There's a lot that goes into railway logistics, much like every other form of logistics, like truck-based, ship-based logistics. And one of the important things that you have to have for that sort of an operation is built-up pre-existing infrastructure. Particularly a large amount of locomotives, a humongous amount of freight cars to be able to handle the particular cargo that you're trying to transport, and also rail yards to be able to handle the influx of the massive jump in rail car numbers, and also locomotive servicing facilities and available motive power to be able to move this cargo overland in an efficient manner. This does not exist, particularly within Turkmenistan or Uzbekistan or even southern Kazakhstan. There is a lot that has to be done to make a functioning high-capacity rail line in any corner of the world. It usually takes years, usually over a decade, to be able to get something like that going. Many of y'all will know famously of the Russian Trans-Siberian Railway, which actually is a high-volume mainline rail corridor throughout the entirety of Eurasia, but that does not exist in between Iran and China directly. To show y'all something here that's quite interesting, the largest rail yard that Turkmenistan has is in the town of Mary, in the middle of eastern Turkmenistan. This is the only rail yard in the whole city. This thing has a capacity most likely of several hundred rail cars, maybe at a maximum 350. Which does not even give room for unit trains to pull over and possibly see that trains are, motive power is interchanged to be able to pull it on through the rest of Turkmenistan to Uzbekistan. There's also no locomotive maintenance facilities here of any noticeable size that'll be able to handle that sort of an influx of that many locomotives that will require servicing, maintenance, and regular checks to make sure that the engines are operational and still fit for mainline service. So there is no way in hell that the trains would be able to make it out of Iran and just just through Turkmenistan alone. Much less on top of that, the fuel constraints. Trains are incredibly efficient for overland transport and generally cargo transportation costs on bulk cargo types. But there is no way in hell that they have the fuel infrastructure built up in this area to be able to refuel trains at this kind of rate and frequency through Turkmenistan. And not only that, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan operate off of state-run railways, which usually have fixed rail schedules for all passenger and freight trains, meaning that the Turkmen government and the Uzbek government would have to start writing in through their railway company all of these extra train services that are not factored in the schedule, which is going to throw off the usual freight and passenger schedule entirely out of whack. In short, through all of these different reasons, there's no way in hell that this rail corridor is going to amount to anything. Maybe somehow they eke out an extra 10 special trains on the schedule every day from Iran to China, or maybe at the best, maybe 30 over the whole route, but that's going to be a drop in the bucket, especially considering that what they're trying to circumvent right now is the oil crisis that they're having, considering that none of the oil loaded on the ships at guard can make it out of the Strait of Hormuz because of the U.S. blockade at the Gulf of Oman. They don't even have enough oil cars in Iran or any of these countries to be able to shift all of the ship-based traffic on the trains and then ship it to China. None of that works. So, in short, this is a complete pipe dream by the Iranians.
Yeah, as much as they want to replace the slow boat to China, they simply can't replace it. The slow boat to China is a fixture. They can't get rid of it. In fact, nobody can get rid of it for the most part. The U.S. is hooked on it. Iran's hooked on it. So there's no getting around this. This little propaganda game that Iran's playing right here is a bit of a joke. But it's, like I said, though, it still doesn't negate the fact that unless the U.S. is willing to wait for possible severe economic damage to take place on America as well as Iran, it's like we said before, it's like playing economic chicken. It's like which country's going to fall and collapse with their economy first. Is it going to be Iran? Is it going to be the United States? Or is it going to be the entirety of Asia, perhaps? Like, it's hard to tell. It's hard to predict because it's such a like a doomsday scenario for the Strait of Hormuz to remain closed for this many months like this, and also potentially into the foreseeable future. That it's hard to say where it's going to go, but it's certainly a high-risk game for sure.
Certainly is, but they're certainly not going to be making it any less high risk by saying we're taking the rail line to Hicktown to Nowheresville to try to circumvent the blockade. That's not working ever. So that, like the whole Iranian propaganda spiel that has been put out over weeks at this point of, mashallah, the U.S. blockade means nothing to us in the name of Allah because we could just drive the trains through Turkmenistan. That's not happening because, you know, by the will of Allah, there's just not enough trains and not enough trackage and not enough rail cars to be able to do that one. So they need to get on to figuring that one out and how that's actually supposed to work outside of propaganda, because that's not going to help their ailing economy. But we also got to see that there were some unmarked flights being conducted near to Zanjan today as well, most likely by Iranian diplomatic teams. Usually the Iranians use a lot of Airbus A340s for their transportation. It looks to be an A340. There's a chance, though, and I have to say this because it is far enough away that I can't get a positive identification on it myself. There is a very slight chance it could be an Aleutian 96, which is a little bit wider bodied than an A340, but they're very similar for the larger part, at least in general shape from a good distance away. So it might be an Aleutian 96, highly likely an A340, but it does show us that at the moment there is probably some sort of a flight being conducted by Iranian diplomatic teams either back into Iran or out of Iran to go and try and continue to beg their allies for further support in the meantime while they're not getting bombed. So we'll have to find out whether they're going, because we'll eventually get a press release from somewhere saying where that plane landed if it was heading outside of Iran. And so with that in mind, it's now time for us folks to wrap up all of our Middle Eastern news for the day by going over to Israel. The Hezbollah forces have fired another bottle rocket attack at the Israelis today near to the port of Haifa. Basically all of the rockets, from what we can tell, were generally shot down. And then in response, the Israelis went and bombed the Baalbek Valley again. So this isn't anything particularly new. You've got mail.
Hey, that guy's got that old school phone with that vibration notification turned on. That thing sounds like a motor.
Man, honestly, man, it's like, dang, dude, it's like, It's like, dude, if you put that thing down on the ground, it would actually, like, make the seismographs pick something up with that kind of energy being put out.
I remember those old ones too. They used to shake your bones, like when you had your phone in your pocket. Those were some strong motors on those old ones.
Man, that stuff would scare the hell out of you if you weren't expecting it. Like, you'd just be sitting there with your phone in your pocket, and then the thing would go, and it'll, like, shake all your pants and everything. Like, you'd almost, like, jump up and be like, ah! Basically, like, think like an animal got in your pants or something and was, like, running around. But anyways, with that is all of our news out of the Middle East for the day. The Israelis and Hezbollah are just doing what they do. So, moving us on out of all of this news in the Middle East, it is now time for us to move on and into the Russian Federation, because we have quite the news coming out today from the war in Ukraine and inside of Russia. We will also be throwing in as a bulk package the little bit of news that we got out of China today, but it's more so of a broader concept piece of news than anything specific. So it'll just be a brief cover, and then we'll move on into the news inside of Ukraine. But before we get to that, I do have to say a humongous thanks to everyone who's been watching so far tonight, even through all of the tech difficulties that we've been having. A big apology for that once again, folks. It looks like it's more so on the internet's end itself than it is our computers or our systems. It looks like there might be some sort of a cyber attack possibly going on in the United States right now. There's been a lot of server outages, but we still thank y'all for pulling through with us and watching this news, even in the midst of the technical difficulties that the entirety of America has probably been having tonight. It's also great to see that around 15,000 people have joined us over the course of the stream, and 73,000 people have been here since the very beginning of the stream an hour ago. I've got to thank you all so much for spending your time here. It's an absolutely amazing thing to know that we get to cover the news for each and every single one of y'all every single night. And make sure to stick around, folks, because we're about to be getting into Comedy Central when it comes to what's going on in Russia today. But before we get to that, I do want to make sure that we get 3 questions from the chat to get to talk to y'all for a brief moment before we get back into raw news coverage. So Matthew, what do we got?
Alright, so let's jump into our first super chat here, which goes to none other than Give Up Now, who puts in a $200 support, a massive support, by the way, and a huge shout out for that massive support and helping to get the channel running. That's a big one right there. They said, some say you need to just state facts and no opinion. To them, I point out, the earth is flat is a fact to some, and the Dow is at 50,000.
And I thank you so much for the unbelievably massive support. Give Up Now. And I'd have to say, people who say that, it's
good questions in class. Someone was talking about how vocal we are in some of our classes, and we've explained that because of a lot of interference and watchers and listeners and people within our state departments not doing their due diligence to report the facts and doing a lot of meddling, gaslighting and things. Yeah, 2008 to 12. Those were huge concerns. Right, so one of the reasons we're so vocal, again, we've been on the program since we were 18, and we're very familiar with a lot of those traveling bands and loops and groups and fundraising and snuff trafficking, all of that stuff. Yeah, well, we have some new people, and others are very familiar and are well-versed and know very well that what we speak is the truth, and are also hoping that the good forces and others continue to speak the truth the best they can. Now, for many, it's difficult because of the chairs they're in and the people around them. They get very upset. As you can see, I mean, some pretty well-known people have come forward, like, I'm scared to even talk about the vaccines because the psycho-activists, loving people around them, who they live with sometimes, freak the F out. Yeah, and they've come forward. It's like little whistleblowers all over the place, you know, helping us to understand. Or at least giving us material to help others understand the things that which we do. It's very frustrating, isn't it? How cool, too. It's very cool and exciting. So yeah, we are very open and vocal about that and the targeting. And getting the retards and non-vaxxers, what they've been doing on and offline. with our children and others is disgusting and it's disturbing. And so by speaking out, knowing that others can hear, and there are other concerned people who may be associated, attend the same places, whatever it may be, as us or those around us. And it can help them to not fall into some of the sick targeting that they think they will be rewarded for, knowing how closely it's being watched. And that they more so will be rewarded for simply just being aware, just being a witness, and preventing altercations. You know, calling someone out, hey, that's not probably safe to do. You know, anyone that's not your friend. Those aren't your friends if they're gonna do that. Yeah, don't be afraid to speak up, and a lot of people are, you know. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? You don't want to risk any clicks. It's sad. It's very, very sad. So yeah, that is one of the major reasons. Because of our level of awareness and knowing that, we think that that's the best we can do in this situation. And then when we have our youngest 2 children in the custody of sick, murderous pedophiles being protected by goons and traffickers and cartel people. I know, it's like when you understand what the cartel is, half the people that put out fear propaganda, get the cartel people, and attack innocent people in these families are committing cartel acts themselves and working with cartel activity, doing what they do, and they don't seem to get it. Fucking state people, man, what the fuck. Anyways. Concerns regarding the development, testing, and compliance of biological weapons involve complex international treaties, unauthorized laboratory operations, and risks to whistleblowers. Now let's keep in mind some of these whistleblowers and testers when you get into the Havana syndrome and people having to test other people, and so many are like, yeah, this is fucked up. And back in 2010 when they signed off on it, a lot of people knew it wasn't okay. So just like with like news people and others, and they say, yeah, we'll be one of them and get in on the inside just to help keep too much chaos from happening and know what's going on, right? Right, so you have a lot of these people that are having to use these weapons and do the testing, and people get the Havana syndrome. Sometimes they have a stroke, huh? Oh, it can give someone a heart attack and kill them. Depends on how sensitive they are, huh? Oh, just like the vaccine, right? Well, if they're strong enough, they'll be okay, right? Well, a lot of people know that's fucked up, and many of the ones who were assigned to do those things have been whistleblowers. And they take it easy on people. The fuck, you know? Many of them are like, what the fuck? This is not okay. No, this is not what I signed up for. I signed up to help people. This is fucked up. Right. So, yeah, when you have so much of that over the years, and then some of those people with the capabilities, whether it be criminalistic or working for one of our lovely departments in the testing fields. Right, and let's say someone gets hurt. They lose use of an arm. Oh my God, I didn't know they were that sensitive. I was just trying to give them a little tap, you know. That's how we roll, right? Right, so yep, that's why we say it's okay. We have a lot of love and forgiveness. We try to explain that to people. Let it go. Yeah, we don't care. We're concerned about the children. So some of those fucks in different situations, just like any other occupation or crime network or individuals, sometimes do things they shouldn't. Some of them are fucking little kids. They've made child and animal pornography, which they feed out to the feeders and chasers connected to some of those same networks. Interesting. I know, news networks. I know, remember back when Trump was telling you, the news networks they're all lying to you. Fucking nasty people. But when it's what they really believe, and they really have taken the SSRIs and it really helped them, I know, and people really did kick a dog, and they have to be taught a lesson. And if you're going to agree with anything they have to say or any concerns, I just don't want to live in a world like that. They're fucking psychotic, dude. They need help. So hopefully the proper authorities do what they're supposed to do and give them a reality check as opposed to continuing to coddle their beliefs. Mm-hmm. Let's see. The Biological Weapons Convention, the BWC, signed in 1972, prohibits the development, production, acquisition, transfer, stockpiling, and use of biological and toxic weapons. And use of biological and toxin weapons. Not toxic, toxin, and toxin weapons. But lacks a formal verification mechanism, making compliance monitoring difficult. Like prohibition, huh? Moonshine, 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 freeze. They were bootleggers. They were bootleggers. Nana, aren't they cool professionals? Really teaching us kids a lesson. Thanks, Mills. And I remember when she pulled in here in her limo back around COVID. Teach these kids a lesson. Fucking psychos with their transgender bullshit. You fucking psychotic pieces of shit. I've gotten a lot of people killed. Just saying. It's just my opinion, and I have a right to that. Lack of verification. The BWC relies on voluntary compliance, leaving a compliance gap where rogue actors or nations may conduct illicit research. Dual use research, legitimate pharmaceutical, and I know, and then when you look at some of these books and people talking about specifically bioweapons and Lyme disease, why? And why were Lyme disease patients being targeted? And why are people who are diagnosed with such conditions more likely to have children with special needs or delays or injuries from the vaccines? These things are very well known, and it makes us fucking sick how you people around here and elsewhere are continuing to ignore it while these punks fuck our children. Are you talking to them with your minds? What did we fucking tell you back years ago? And they're playing these fucking games with the funding. Telepathy. Are you fucking kidding me, you psychotic spiritual pieces of shit? You nasty fucks. Stupid. Fucking stupid people, man. Talking to them with their minds. Fucking stupid. What do we tell you? And then look at what's been going on in those networks. On the psychedelics, the fighting, the children with autism, the telepathy, the funding. You sick fucks. My name's Mary. We're at the Governor Hill Mansion in Augusta, Maine, and I have 4 children here, and my youngest 2 are in the hands of sick, murderous pedophiles, and we're going to keep speaking out till the proper authorities report the facts here, because the dumb fucks around here that have been committing fraud and trafficking, many have moved to Florida and Texas. Some are dead. A lot of good, innocent people have been killed, too. Suicides, accidents, yeah. Don't forget the overdoses. Legitimate pharmaceutical or biological research can be repurposed for weaponization, making it difficult to differentiate between defensive and offensive programs. Not for those that are aware, but let's not tell them about that. Unauthorized labs. The discovery of clandestine or unauthorized laboratories, such as those in California and Nevada, exposes gaps in biosecurity and the potential for accidental or intentional release of pathogens. What's that? Some YouTuber that went to a wedding in Istanbul was on that cruise ship with the stranded people with the virus? Yeah, I know. It's funny, huh? State-level concerns. The U.S. has raised concerns about biosecurity compliance in countries like Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran, particularly regarding military biological activities. covert development. Identifying illicit programs is complex, and has equipment for producing bioweapons is often identical to that used for legitimate vaccine or agricultural research. Agricultural research, like we said, the same like info wars, frequencies, a butter knife, a fucking basketball, social media. Why did your child commit suicide? What made them overconsume drugs? Were they spiked? Oh, I guess you shouldn't have let them. They wanted to go hang out with their friends. I know. Guess it's your fault. Whose fault is it? Right, so I mean the same thing that can cure you can kill you, just like water. These things are really simple to understand, but yeah, let's talk about the meaning of God and who built the goddamn fucking pyramids. Fucking sick fucks. AI and engineering tech, artificial intelligence, and gene editing, known as CRISPR, increase the risk of creating new, tailored, and more dangerous pathogens. Trust but verify. There is an increasing call for methods to verify compliance, such as intrusive or on-site inceptors of suspect biological sites. Suppression of dissent. Whistleblowers who expose problems in bioweapons research faced risks similar to those in other scientific fields, including retaliation, accountability issues. The lack of strict verification often allows organizations and nations to avoid accountability, discouraging employees from reporting compliance breaches. Someone in class would like to know if Miss Nancy Grace would like to report on this stuff, or do we need to find Nancy? All these scientists have disappeared. They're dead. I don't know what's happening. One was vaporized. Oh my god. These girls, they're being weaponized. The BWC's ISU supports efforts to implement the treaty, while the UN Security Council is the final arbitrator for complaints. Need for strengthened mechanisms. Efforts to improve compliance involve developing stronger international standards for lab safety, employee vetting, and reporting mechanisms. Protection for whistleblowers. Experts emphasize that protecting those who report violations is crucial to maintaining the integrity of the biosecurity framework. Right, and some of these punks that just said they gave people a tap, you know, actually they can turn like they're whistleblowers and it's fake and this and that, and they're putting themselves in danger. I know, when you look at how sick and fucked up this shit is, take a look. Hopefully the proper authorities start reporting the facts here and they help our children in the hands of these sick fucks. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. All right, let us know. We'll be right here. Mwah!